Good morning and welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. Today we are making chicken and rice soup, but I've got to get it started. Well, actually I'll be making it tomorrow. I'm getting it started today for us to enjoy tomorrow after church. So chicken and rice soup. Okay guys, so it is fall. Not really. Well, I guess it is technically, but the fall weather has arrived. For a short time. I'm sure we'll have another couple of heat waves, but today and tomorrow is supposed to be good and chilly. And so nothing warms the soul better than soup. So my daughter's favorite soup is chicken and rice soup. It's one of her favorites. And so we are going to do chicken and rice soup. And I am starting from complete scratch. We are using a fresh hen and chicken, premium chicken, young chicken. It's a young chicken. So I'm going to put this over the sink. I'm going to drain it, be sure there's nothing inside. Usually it'll tell you if the liver and the giblets and all that stuff's inside. So I'm going to check it out, make sure there's nothing in it, and get it ready. And I'll bring you back when I get it ready. Okay guys, well here she is. I've got her in my pot. She is in there. The only thing that they had in her was the neck bone, and I'm just going to cook that right along with her. I'm going to come over here. I just have a celery. I'm just going to cut it into thirds. Drop that down in there. I'm going to cut an onion in half. And I'm just going to cut the root ball off. And stick that down in there. You will be adding more onion and celery to this later. This is just to flavor the broth and to get her going. Let me wash my hands and we'll get on to the seasoning. Okay, so when you're cooking the chicken, you just want a good broth. So I don't really measure anything. Maybe a teaspoon of everything. Teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of sage, ground sage. It's going to smell like Thanksgiving in here. And I have some poultry seasoning. I'm going to use maybe half a teaspoon of the poultry seasoning. I'm going to use some pepper. Yes, I have my container behind me, and maybe a half a teaspoon of the black pepper. And I'm going to take a Knorr bouillon cube. If you have the chicken base that comes in the little tub, you can use that. But I have these on hand, so I'm going to break up one of these and put in here. And now we're going over to the sink and we're going to fill her up with water. Okay guys, here she is. I've got her turned on high. I'm going to bring her to a boil, and then I'm going to turn her down and put the lid on and let her cook. But I'm going to add one more ingredient just because I have a little extra in the refrigerator. And, you know, butter always makes things better. So I've got about a half a stick of butter. I'm going to stick down in there. That's just going to give the soup a good richness, a good... just a great flavor. We will strain this in the broth, but we'll bring you back when that's ready. She's going to cook all day long probably. I'm going to get her up really good and high, turn her way down, and just let her cook all day and just keep an eye on the water. And I may want, she's not quite submerged. Let me push her, break her back. Let me break her back and get her down in there. So I may flip her or do some things just to be sure she stays submerged, or add water. So we're just going to let her cook all day and let my house smell like heaven all day. Okay, guys, so some of you may be asking me, Leslie, I don't ever buy a whole chicken. I just use chicken breast, or I just use chicken thighs. Whatever you use is fine. That is fine. In fact, I normally use chicken breast for everything. One, because I'm not a dark meat fan. But I know a lot of people love the dark meat. So if you use chicken breast, that is perfectly fine. In fact, that's what I normally use. 3 to 4 chicken breasts will be plenty for this recipe. I'm just gonna take this off the bone. I use chicken breast for convenience, because I like white meat. So there's lots of reasons I use chicken breast. Today I'm just using this because this is what I had. My family, the rest of my family, like dark meat, so I wanted to please them. And a whole chicken is cheaper. That's the cheapest way to buy chicken. So anyway, guys, she's getting good and hot, and we're gonna cook her up all day long. Okay, guys, well, guess what? She's ready. I only let her cook. You don't have to let her cook all day long. I was being a little facetious. She's probably cooked 9, 10, 12, maybe 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. But just as long as she's done. I just let her cook because I wanted to. Now, I'm going to get her out and put her in this bowl so she can cool where I can handle her and pull the meat off the bone. We're going to see if we can do this. She's going to fall apart. I'm telling you. Look, she just fell apart. Like completely. Now, I want to be sure I don't get any bones left in the meat. Look how she's falling apart, y'all. Can y'all see how tender she is? She was a whole chicken when she went in there. And she's coming out in pieces. That is a tender bird right there. Here's a whole breast right here. There's a wing. Alright, I'm going to leave everything else in here because I'm going to strain this really good. And, so we're going to, this broth, y'all, is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And that's going to be the base of our soup. So, I'm going to let the meat over here cool. When she gets cool, we'll come and we'll pick the meat apart off the bones and be sure we have all the bones out, and we'll strain the broth. Okay, guys, we're going to strain a little bit at a time here. And I may have to start and stop, start and stop. Alright, I'm going to stop there. We're going to lift this up. I'm going to set that aside over here and salvage that beautiful, beautiful, thick, golden broth. Okay, guys, I poured up the chicken broth into these 3 containers right here. This one, I need to burp because the broth is still hot. Didn't quite fill that one up. But this is a 1/2 gallon jar. It's hot, but once it cools down, we'll stick it in the refrigerator. And we'll probably use this one tomorrow for the soup. And so all I have left to do today is I'm going to go ahead and pre-chop some celery and onions and have that already chopped. So in the morning, before I go to church, I can throw some onion and celery in here and get it hot. I'm also going to tear up the chicken. I still have that to do. And then we'll just be ready to put it together in the morning and before we go to church, and then we'll finish it up just as soon as we get back from church. Okay, good morning, y'all. It is Sunday morning at 5 something in the morning, and it's time for us to get up. And we like to sit around and have our coffee, and he likes to just spend time with the Lord before we go to church. And since I'm cooking lunch today, it's a great time for me to go ahead and get lunch. I don't usually get up quite this early, but anyway. So yesterday I cleaned out my pot and just got it ready since I stored everything in the refrigerator, and my refrigerator is like, it won't hold this big pot. So I just poured everything up, and so we're going back in with the chicken broth. Isn't that pretty stuff right there? And I'm going to get that little bit of fat because that'll make it taste so good. And I had some extra. It didn't all fit in that container. I'm going to reach around you guys and get me a napkin. I mean a rag. Okay. I'm going to turn the oven on and get it getting hot. Last night I chopped up some celery and some onion. I chopped up about 2 or 3, maybe 2.5 stalks of celery and 2 medium onions. I'm not sure how much of this I will use. Oh, I'm going in with all of it. Can't hurt. All right, now along with our broth, and you know, I flavored that broth so good yesterday, and so it tastes wonderful, and it is so flavorful. But along with that, just to make it a little bit more creamy, a little bit more silky and smooth, I'm going to add in a family-size can of cream of chicken. And we may add more. Y'all, forgive my hair. I just got up. Now, what I'm going to do over here on the side, I don't have my stuff out yet, but I'm going to start a pot of rice and get that ready. I do not cook my rice in the soup. I put it in at the last minute, so I won't even put that in until we get home from church. But I'm going to go ahead and make it this morning. I make it ahead of time in a separate pot. The reason being is it gets gummy, or it gets I don't know, just it's not a good texture. I may have to grab a spoon. Oh, here's my spatulas. I moved them over here.
Good morning, guys. It's bright and early.
It's really early.
She didn't know the sun came up this early.
It's still dark. It's not up.
Are you guys ready for some good chicken and rice soup today?
This is one of my daughter's favorites.
Yeah, Caroline loves this meal. And I just love gathering as a family on Sunday after church around my table. Family time is important.
Okay, so I'm going to whisk the soup and see if it's enough. That looks good to me. I'm going to bring you guys over here so you can see what it looks like. There it is. You don't want it thick, so you don't want a thick soup. So I'm going to get this hot and going and let the onions and celery cook a while before I put the chicken in. But I stored my chicken in the refrigerator and I poured a little chicken broth on top of the chicken just to keep it good and moist. So we'll go in with that in a little bit. And I'm going to get my rice started over here. Let me tell you how I cook my rice. I'm not going to show you just because I got to go get ready. But I think I'm going to do 2.5 cups of rice, and which means I'll put in 5 cups of water. That doesn't mean I'm going to use all of that in my soup. I will play it by ear because my soup amounts always vary. So I'm going to make 2.5 cups of dry rice with 5 cups of water. I bring my water to a boil, and then I pour the rice in. I turn the oven down, put the lid on, the stove down to low. I put the lid on and I leave it for about 20 minutes and check it. And I always like to taste it because I don't want my rice to have a bite, like it's still hard in the middle. And so I always check it to be sure. But so it's always 2 to 1. So if you use 1 cup of rice, you're going to use 2 cups of water. If you use 1.5 cups of rice, you're going to use 3 cups of water. Today, I'm using 2.5 cups, which means I'm going to use 5 cups of water. I was like thinking my math. Is that right? Okay, so I'm going to get cleaned up. I'm going to go finish getting ready, hopefully, and get my tea started. And did I tell you I made the firecrackers? I'll try to link that video below so you can watch that, how I made my firecrackers. Okay guys, I am ready for church, all but my lipstick. And I usually put that on in the car while he drives to church. But everything is ready. I've got my tea made on the stove. I'll put the sugar and stuff in it when we get home. My rice is ready over here. That made plenty of rice. I don't know that I'll put it all in the soup, but we will see. And the soup, I've got the chicken in here. I've got everything in here. And my house smells absolutely divine. Like, I don't know why I don't cook every Sunday for lunch. I'm so excited. But there it is. And we'll be putting the rice in it when we get home. I've cut everything off. So all I have to do when I get home is crank up the heat, get it hot again, and put the rice in it and get my crackers out ready to be served. And they are delicious. I'll try to link those below. And so yeah, we'll see you guys when we get back from church. Hey guys, we are home from church and I'm just now scooping the rice over into my soup. And it's okay if it's stuck together a little bit because once it gets in this broth, it's going to loosen up. I need to get a nice yes over there.
You tell him Blippy's playing in the background?
Yeah, Judah came home with us from church, and he's watching Blippy. And I'm just going to take this ladle and kind of stir the rice around and break up any clods.
Clusters.
Look at that. Can y'all see that? I think I'm going to keep putting rice in.
The hard part is knowing how much rice.
That's it. And you never know, because you don't know how much broth you're going to have.
You never know exactly how much it's going to yield,
Yeah.
broth-wise.
So I just make a big pot of rice, and then...
And you need to fix it to your consistency that you like.
Yeah, you might not like rice. I mean, this would be a great soup even without the rice.
Yeah.
You could put noodles, egg noodles in here and have
Like
chicken noodle soup.
Like no yolk noodles?
Yeah. Does that look good, or you want more rice?
I'd
More?
do one more scoop, and let's check it. I'm waving the camera all around while I'm stirring.
Let me just finish this right here.
Quit it.
All right. Quit it. Okay, guys, when we get ready to scoop this up, I gotta get these clods broke up. I've just now turned the soup on, so it's not even warm yet. So that's what we're working on, and I'll bring you guys back when we sit down to eat.
Do what?
Have you tasted it yet?
Look at there.
It's got his crackers in it. This is our firecrackers. I'll try to link that recipe below.
Look at there. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here, Judah.
He wants his bowl right there.
That is perfect.
This is Caroline's favorite meal. And she's getting ready to pull her sleeves up, getting ready to dig in. Woo! It's hot. All right, say bye, everybody. Thank you guys for watching The Farm and Pastor's Wife. And remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything.